Welcome to another edition of Friday Forum Live, coming to you from Point Blank here in East London, where today, in association with AIAIAI, we present an exclusive pre-recorded interview with New York producer and engineer Young Guru. Revered as the sound of New York, Young Guru has over a decade of production and engineering experience for hip-hop institutions like Roc-A-Fella and Def Jam Recordings. He's probably most recognised for his work with Jay-Z. Young Guru has mixed over 10 of Jay's albums and was nominated for a Grammy for his work on Empire's State of Mind. Just before we get into the interview, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's been going on this week at Point Blank. So first up, we've just uploaded our brand new tutorial, Deconstruction by Ski Oakenfold of Scream's dubstep anthem Midnight Request Line. Just head over to the YouTube channel and you can check that one out. Also, we've just extended our exclusive diploma discount offer for the whole of this month. So if you head over to pointblanklondon.com, you can check out all the diploma courses that we offer. And if you enroll this month in July, you'll get 10% off the list price. Finally, we have the full range of online courses getting underway on July 22nd. So for anyone studying anywhere in the world, head over to pointblankonline.net and enroll for a course right now. So that's probably enough from me. I'm going to hand you over to the pre-recorded interview with Angela in New York, asking Young Guru the questions that were put forward by you, the Point Blank community.
Peace. Young Guru, aka The Beast, aka Hank McCoy. Make sure y'all check out the AIAIAI headphones. Point Blank, let's go.
Okay, so growing up, who are your production idols? Like ideally, who is your people you want to be like?
Production idols, I've always looked at Quincy Jones and just feel like he was the complete package. You know, early growing up, it was the R&B of the day, just modern R&B, but really getting into hip hop, it was like early Run DMC stuff, early Houdini stuff. So that's like Larry Smith, and then the Bomb Squad was huge, just in their style. And then Pete Rock and Primo were definitely huge in terms of later years in developing a certain type of style.
So how did you exactly get into engineering? Why did you go to more of the behind the scenes rather than being like up front rapping or playing instruments on stage or like DJing first and foremost?
Well, I DJed first, and in terms of DJing, being that I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, when you said you were a DJ, you kind of had to get into engineering a little bit because you had to put together your sound system. So it was just my personality, what I did. I was normally the person, fixing stuff. So engineering was just something that was natural for me.
And as far as like getting into engineering, how did you find the tools to do that?
I was an engineer just in the general terms of an engineer. As a kid, my mom had me in this program called FAME, Forum for the Advancement of Minorities in Engineering. So the world of engineering in general wasn't foreign to me. But just back then, you would just research where they taught engineering. And I found a little school called Omega Recording, and that's where I finalized sort of my education.
And as far as like equipment, like how did you get that? Like did you just like intern at a studio, or how did you get your hands into that?
Well, early stuff I was paying to go in the studio and make a bunch of whack records, but I was learning how to work the equipment. I was learning just what the process was of putting together a record. And that all came from just me going and paying for studio time and just trying to make records with my friends.
So as far as artists, you have such a large catalog of people you worked with. Mm-hmm. So how exactly did you get into that and the array of artists? It's not just hip hop. There's so many different types.
I guess just listening to a bunch of different music, but actually coming to New York City in '99 when I moved up here. The type of projects that I was working on was just bouncing me around the city a lot, and also attacking Pro Tools kind of early got me into a lot of sessions just to be sort of a glorified tape operator with Pro Tools early when it came out. Okay. So I just got to meet a lot of people just by running around the circuit in New York.
Okay. So throughout your career, is there a lesson that you've learned that you kind of stick with and that you're like, this is what I learned and this is what I'm going to continue to do because of it? I
think you kind of always learn. You're kind of continuously learning. if there is one lesson, I think that is the lesson, is that you're continuously learning, and that you don't get caught up in, I know everything and this is it and I've mastered everything, because music consistently changes, the world constantly changes, people's tastes change. So that you don't come in and if you study the history of music, people come in and have great careers for 4 or 5 years and then fall off. So the more that you can adapt to whatever's going on, the better chance you have to continue to work.
As far as listening to music, are you ever concerned about your hearing, or how do you protect yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned about my hearing. I get regular checkups. At least once a year I go to the ear throat hospital, get my ears properly cleaned. And I check, there's no way humanly possible that you can retain perfect hearing the older that you get, and I'm getting up there. So you start to lose those high ends around 20K. But not blasting music is the way to protect yourself.
Is that something you took into consideration when developing your headphones?
Yes, I definitely didn't want it to be strenuous on the ears after continuous, because I'm thinking of someone using this for hours on end,
right.
So I didn't want it to be something where highs are too pronounced. Bass inside of a headphone is sort of controllable because you're in this close environment, but the highs can really scream sometimes. So we definitely take that into account.
Okay. So there's so many people who aspire to be like you. You've been
Wow.
so influential. If you could work with someone or engineer for someone, living or dead, who would it be?
Dead is easy, Bob Marley. Definitely would want to just do a session with Bob, or just, that's my favorite artist completely of all time. Favorite person living, I think it would be interesting to actually do something with Jack White, like a whole project with Jack White. I think he's probably one of the most creative people I've ever seen in the studio. And it would be different for me just from moving from sort of the urban R&B hip hop world into a complete rock world, or whatever he's on at a given time. But I really like Jack White.
Okay. And as far as working on music, what's your studio setup like?
Right now I'm using the MPC Renaissance as the main converter and my main piece, and then I have a MIDI keyboard that I use. But mostly it's just a computer, the MPC Renaissance, and a bunch of records.
Is there a specific studio or home studio that you work?
Now that we lost bassline, we don't have bassline anymore. I use Stadium Red a lot, just because the old bassline board is in Stadium Red.
Right.
So that's sort of the place where I'm most comfortable now.
So since you have such a solid education background, I think a lot of people want to know, is it worth going to school for audio engineering now?
Oh, most definitely. One, it gives you a focus, right? You can fish around and learn a lot of things online, but it gives you a focus in terms of, there's a difference when you have to have a test on that, next Friday.
Right.
You're forcing yourself to memorize or to study and to understand concepts by a certain time, which sort of, for me, is great because it organizes my life. And then there's things that are completely outside of your norm that you should go to school
right.
for. You may sit at home and be able to work and do your sessions your way, like the things that you do. Like, say if you deal with rap, then you may just know about recording stuff out of a beat machine, or using computers, or recording the human voice. But you may not, and then consider yourself an engineer, where you may not know how to mic a drum properly, or you may not know how to deal with guitar feedback, or know the difference between amps, the same way that people know the difference between microphones and beat machines and things of that nature. So school will give you that complete, well-rounded thing, and it also introduces you to another group of people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, so your world of resources becomes bigger. That's a huge thing.
So for aspiring engineers that want to make it big, what's that first big step to success? What's the best advice you could give them?
Just to learn the studio, to learn everything that goes into recording as much as you can, to study all the basic pieces so that you don't really have to think about them, and then get yourself to somewhere where people are recording music. If you have the situation in your hometown where you have a great artist or band that you can work with, then that's great. But someone like myself, I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and it is now. Now D.C. has become a place on the musical map.
Right.
But back then it was a lot harder to break into the industry from DC, so I had to actually get up and move to New York City. That's a decision you had to make. That's when you start to really ask yourself, is this really what I do? Am I serious about this, or is this just a hobby? You may have to get up and move.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate everyone who sent in their questions. Is there anything else you want to say to them?
Yes, I want to shout out to the Point Blank London winner. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your headphones. And shout out to AIAIAI for even hooking up with Point Blank London and for hooking up with myself and doing this collaboration. I really hope you enjoy it.
So thanks to Angelica, our friends at AIAIAI, and of course to Young Guru for getting involved. The Young Guru edition of AIAIAI headphones will be officially launched this Wednesday. So check out the YouTube description for all the links. And remember, to be in with a chance of winning a pair, just subscribe to our YouTube channel before this Sunday. We'll be selecting a winner at random from all of our subscribers, new and old. So if you're not already signed up, then make sure you do so before the 14th of July and you'll be in with a chance of winning a pair of those headphones. So that's it from us, another edition of Friday Forum here at Point Blank. Make sure you keep locked to our Facebook page, the YouTube, and of course our blog for all the updates of what's happening here at Point Blank. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.